approve the minutes of the last meeting dated May 10th, 2022.
Got it.
Motion by Billy, second by Randall. All four?
Yeah.
All four. Number 3, approve ambulance write-offs for this year. Page number, start at number 3. Jim, you want to tell me anything about this?
Some of those are contractual with Medicare and TeamCare and stuff, we don't have no choice, and then the others are just some bad debt and stuff that we've accumulated. It's just something we do on an annual basis before the end of the fiscal year, we get that approved.
Right, of course, we do this each year, and he tries to, how long you run these out to, Jim? A year or so, trying to collect?
That should be from July 1st up till the end of May.
July 1 to end of May, from 21 to 22.
Yeah.
It's on that,
It's at the top
it's on,
first.
yeah.
What's the total?
Looks like total,
957,000, 430.
and this is all Medicare, Medicaid, and
Yeah.
Medicare and everything.
Things we have no control over.
Right. Anybody have any questions for Jim about that? If not, we'll entertain a motion to write these off for this year, after everybody's satisfied with it.
Billy made a motion.
Okay, motion made by Billy. That's second. Second for Roger. Is there any questions or any other discussion that we need to bring before the meeting regarding it? If not, all four?
Yes.
Yes. All four. All right, Jim, give us an update from the ambulance service sector.
Collections, we've already collected this year what we collected last year, what we did last year. So we've got one more month on that, so that's good. So we've been talking about alternatives to the addition, where the addition came in so much higher than what we were really expecting. Looking at maybe doing a double wide trailer, moving the building department out front, and giving us a little bit more room in the building.
That's number 5 in the packet. Basically, all that is just giving you an idea of what he's talking about. These diagrams are about for a 30, 40 double wide. I wanted y'all to see what the type of price range that it runs.
Just to start with having some conversation to see some options that we may be able to do, because like I said, we kind of outgrown it, we need some sleeping quarters, but with the bid coming in like it did, it come in double what we were expecting it to. It's just a whole lot to ask for.
Yeah, of course, this will be a lot cheaper than $600 square foot. That's what it
Looking at
was.
some options.
If we toss this around and see if we can do this, this is probably our easiest and best way to do and get us some sleeping quarters.
What do you think, Brady, on that too?
I know I'm not on the committee, but, will this work?
It will help, it'll move, the offices out front, and we have some space inside that we could use.
What, the sleeping, that's what you're planning on
Yeah, we
doing?
can come up with 4 bedrooms, which would be a
Okay,
help right
got
now.
you, got you. So this would just be for your office and,
Yeah.
okay,
And then
yeah.
all the other offices will remodel and make those sleeping quarters. I didn't get a chance to call Blackmer Meadows today to see what kind of.
Yeah, I seen some prices, yeah, like Billy said, they went up a great deal, but I seen, some at about 1,200 square feet for about 80,000. Yeah.
Well, won't y'all be thinking about that?
Yeah, just some conversation, because we need to look at options that we can have.
We're gonna have to do something over there. I mean, we're growing and we're about to grow out of the building now. We were gonna try to use some of our COVID money, but it just got to be too high.
Yeah,
So,
it is, it's awful.
so, we'll push this down the road and get Ben more involved in it, see what he thinks. So I know he was talking at one time, maybe going to like a metal building and every model, like he was talking about Monroe, but this would probably be our cheapest way, because we wouldn't have to put no additional dollars in it other than buying furniture or something. So, you make any questions for Jim or anything?
Other than that, we're maintaining, we're about where we normally are with runs and everything like that, so. We've got a couple of trucks that are down for repairs, finding parts and getting parts is a big thing right now.
Have you been looking at the roof repair?
Yeah, we're gonna have to do something, we were gonna put that in with the addition, but we're gonna have to put a roof on it. You're looking at 22 years now, and we've had to patch it a couple of times where it's leaked. Don't know how y'all wanna do that, whether you wanna go back with shingles or look at metal, that's kind of up to y'all, it doesn't matter really to me. It's just, but at some point in time, we'll probably have to look at getting some bids on it. Probably the sooner the better, the way things keep going up.
How about that, the roof?
Roof, yeah.
Is that gonna be, I wonder if that's gonna be part of our insurance coverage we can use, is that damage during a storm?
The last was the windstorm, they've already came and repaired a few places past it. He said the shingles were blistered real bad, and every windstorm we have, we're gonna lose a few, so. Like I said, we're looking at, what, 22 years, I guess, since that building's been built.
I think so, man, it's been
Pretty close, yeah.
We've got, so, look at replacing roof as well.
Shingle would be cheaper, metal would be better.
Like I said, as long as you keep the water out, we've had water coming inside in the Bay Area, so that's not a good thing, so.
Jim's gotta get down. and
That'll last a lot longer.
Do you have anything else for Jim? I know he's gotta leave, he's gotta get back to
I got another meeting.
meet the game. All right, we say, thank you, good. Jim, update from the sheriff's department?
Like Jim is, we're maintaining, we just opened bids the other night, getting ready to put another AC unit on the jail that's down, it's been down for a little while. And we, got a bid on next to put body cameras on every officer, so I got the bid in on it, I've got 10 orders.
So you done got those orders?
So every officer will have a body camera.
Everybody will have their own.
And then all the software in the car, right?
But now, they'll have everything.
Everything will be right here?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So software will be in the camera.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about, I know we had bids the other night for Monroe, that's the
Yes.
camera. What was all the air conditioner for the kitchen?
Yes.
You looked over that and did that we're gonna do that pretty quick.
Yeah, they had, of course, that night we opened the bid, me and Ben were looking at it, and the one that we accepted had the 4-week lead time, the others had like 25-week lead times. But I did talk to them the other day, and they are actually in the process right now of building it. They said it probably will be less than the 4 weeks. He said probably in a couple of weeks we'll be looking at putting it on.
Well, that's great, because it's fixing to get hot.
Yes.
Hotter. Hotter,
We're
yeah.
gonna have to fix the roof on the jail too.
At some point, just
Yeah.
like Daniel Service, it's about 21, 22-year-old, and it's the flat part of it up there, the rubber is pulled away from the edges about that far right now, and that's will be a big fix.
We had that same situation in the nursing home, didn't we? You might want to contact Jennifer over there and see who they use for the
I
rubber
think
roof.
you someone I've been talking to.
Oh, okay, all right, it's good to, good to.
Like Hawkins up there, he does rubber roofs.
So,
All cracker.
is it all rubber or is it just?
No, that's part of it, the shingle, the
Okay.
majority. of it
You're
is-
talking about the flat part up there, right?
Okay. All right, is, anything else, Tim?
That's it.
Any questions, comments?
Nope.
All right, number 7, Judicial Commissioner, Shane, we'll let you start. Or,
Brittany.
Brittany, I don't like that. I always do that, I don't like it when your name, but I do that all the time.
I thought you called me Shana, my daughter.
Yeah, I did call you that. Go ahead and give us an update on the Judicial Commissioner, please.
Mary said she'll stay on to help what days that she can for now. But, especially when school starts, she needs to be done. Now that she's a single mom, she doesn't want to have to get her son up every time she gets called in.
All right, anything else going on? Same, all right, looks like we've got a few candidates here tonight. We're
I
glad-
spoke with two, they're not here. One of them, that wreck on 136 was her parents.
Oh,
And she brought them home yesterday, but she's at their house taking care of them. And the other ones, they moved their game. She has a son who plays over at the fields, and they moved their game to right at 5:30.
well, I'll tell you what, let's do. I guess we'll just start with this first one here, and we'll find a little bit about them, and then we'll just move down, and then we'll go from there. Haley Carr, is she here?
She's the one who's down here at her son's ball game.
Okay.
But I have spoke with her if you want, and I did ask her some questions on text messaging, if you want to hear that.
Robin Cole, is she here? Robin, stand up, tell us a little bit about yourself. Stand up, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Robbie Cole. As you know, I run in the primary for county executive. I've worked in production all my life. Worked at Hutchinson for 18 years, where I started from the floor and worked my way up to be a supervisor. I was over the shifts, the second shift crew, and most of the time I had to be in on first. I have computer skills and all that stuff that goes with being a supervisor and maintaining a factory and shipments and all that kind of stuff. Since I quit Hutchinson, I started my own ministry. I have Noel's Helping Hands in Livingston.
Right.
I started in a little bitty store and I took it to a bigger store, and now we supply, we help people from Crossville, Sparta, Kentucky, everywhere. And the reason I'm applying is because since I don't work, I don't have income, so I need to pay for insurance. And this job seemed like an interesting job. Since I was in supervisor, it's kind of along that line, and that's kind of what I'm looking for as a part-time job. That's about all I got.
Do you had any experience with dealing with the law or anything? Like education or anything? Have you had any dealings with working as a district commissioner or anything at all, or had any involvement with the sheriff's office or anything that know how the laws work or anything? Okay. Well, I think
Pretty clean.
no, I'm just saying, have you got any background in criminal justice is what I'm saying?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right, okay. Thank you. Christine Foss, is that right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit. Christine.
My name's Christine Foss. I spent 31 and a half years with the Chicago Police Department. The last 16 and a half years I was a detective. I've done work with narcotics, undercover work as far as being a prostitute. I also did stuff in domestic violence. When the domestic violence first started out, my partner and I were actually teaching the state's attorneys what was coming down the line, because they interpreted one way and we were kind of reading it out as it was, and we pretty much won over when trying to convict somebody. I worked as a liaison for the Animal Crimes Unit. They didn't have somebody to do search warrants or to do arrest warrants for them. I've pretty much been out with auto theft. I did auto theft for 2.5 years. I traveled the whole city of Chicago. I've met with every probably department in surrounding Chicago. I actually went to the prisons around Illinois to interview offenders for crimes that where their fingerprints came up. I've done search warrants. I've done orders of protection. And after moving down here, this is my kind of way of, I'd like to give back to the community. I'm a little too old to be chasing offenders.
How long you been down here?
3 years, sir. Yes.
Okay. All right. Sounds good. Ashley Smith, is she not here?
She's the one who's caring for the road.
Thank you, Ms. Hall.
You're welcome.
And then, I guess the last one is this
Yes, it is.
Lee, how you pronounce that last name? Van.
Okay.
That's cool.
I'm somewhat disorganized. You only got half of the application. I found the other half last night after you've been here.
All right, thank you. That was, this lady right here. All right, I guess. That's a different one. Okay.
My name's Winningham Van Connect.
Go ahead, sir.
That confuses people around here because of the name Winningham, but we've been in the community for about 200 years, and all of us kids carry the previous generation or two names. So I have a brother named Garrett. He's the wayfaring one. Grew up here, part of the time went to school at Monroe, and then Daddy took a job with the missile people down in Huntsville and stayed down there for several years, graduated from high school, went through the military, and then been in manufacturing for most of the time since then, working as liaison to manufacturing people, technical advisor, worked on both civilian projects, military projects, spent a lifetime on that. Mama got to be 101 years old, and some of the family was fussing about she shouldn't be living alone again, so I moved up here and I'm living with Mama now. Every child's dream, go home and live with Mama. So she's 103 now and going strong.
Good.
So,
Do you have any background in criminal justice?
very little, only military.
All right.
Military law is not very much like civilian law.
Okay. Thank you. Is there a Jane? How you pronounce that last name? Anybody?
Louisville?
Good. Jane.
Yeah, I wrote an ad in the paper for a job that I kind of got lost about a year ago. I thought maybe I could probably work my way back into the juvenile commissioner and see if I could start over again. So I came over I sent a resume in, or brought the resume in the other day, and got a phone call saying to come back over here at 5:30 or 5:20. I was just wondering if was there anybody else trying to get that position, or was it possible for me to go back into that area? I enjoyed it. I learned a lot with the various police departments, and I was hoping that I could just pick it up. I could use the extra money. That's about it. If you want me to go back to tell you the whole story, why I lost it, I don't know if you might be interested in that or not.
Okay. Sounds great.
Beg pardon?
I said, okay, that sounds great. If it's the will of the group, if y'all want to, we'll start interviewing with everybody, and we'll do a kind of one-on-one interview. That way, everybody can feel more comfortable sitting around with us. And of course, we'll ask, permission to do background checks on everybody. And then after we get everybody interviewed, then we'll decide on who we're going to choose. Does that sound okay with the rest of the group?
How many are going to be chosen?
I'm not sure yet. How many we're going to need.
I'm open to 2, depending on how much everybody wants to work. Because that's the biggest issue I'm having is I have kids, and there was one month I had to
I'm open to more than two if you are, because I think we need to have enough backup, you know. We can't never have enough. It seems like always something comes up with somebody that can't come in or something, so, you know, the more we've got, the better it is.
I'm open to however many, as long as they understand that they may not have many days a month.
Right. Yeah. Do you guys have any problems with that? Us setting up an interview with everybody and call everybody back in one at a time? You know, we may hire for it, I don't know. We just, you know, we've had trouble keeping these commissioners. It's an all-night work. It's not easy work, especially if you know, because you've been in it, but you know, you're the night judge more or less is what you are. You decide whether or not they go to jail or not, or set a bond for them. So we will send you to school though. We won't just put you out there and say, here it is. How many hours of training are they required? Is it 8 the first year or more?
When you go to the actual training, it's a 3-day.
3-day training, okay. But how many hours of credit do they get out of this 3 days?
24.
And that covers them for a year?
Covers for a whole year, you do that every year.
Anybody?
You could do it online, I don't know if you can.
Can you do it on? No.
No, it has to be in person. Well, during the pandemic, they did do some Zoom classes, but other than that, it has to be in person.
We've got everybody's contacts, information on here, right? Everybody's got their phone number and all that, so we'll have somebody to contact you, and we'll try to start setting up the interviewing next court meeting, our next committee meeting. Does anybody have any questions for the potential folks? Commissioner? Okay. And we'll act like I said, we'll explain more when we do the interviews, and you'll have a better understanding of where we're going and where we're headed, okay? All right, do you all have any questions for us?
Where's the training done?
They do 4 a year. They do the January ones in the Nashville area. It's not always Nashville. Sometimes it's Franklin or just in that area. They do one out of Chattanooga, one in Pigeon Forge, and one in Memphis. Although the year before the pandemic, they added a 5th one in Murfreesboro. So it just depends on the time of year you go, on where it's at.
It's all paid for too, right?
Yeah, the trip will be paid for too.
Yeah, somebody said something about getting paid for this. I thought this was a volunteer job.
No, we pay,
Oh, really?
yeah, you get paid per night. Is that how it works?
It's
Yeah.
not a lot of money, but
Are you required to be there all night long?
No, it's
Just
not. It's
on call.
you're only on call. Like if you're on call, like on let's say the 6th, you go on call at midnight on the 6th. You don't go off call until midnight on the 6th. And then, of course, you're not on call when Barbara's office is open.
Which is the clerk master over by the courthouse, yeah.
So you're only on, other than Saturdays and Sundays when they're not open, you're only on call from 4:30 when they close.
Right.
Right. Well, on the weekend it would be Friday when they close on 4:30, and you won't go back off call until they open the next time.
Which is Monday at 8 o'clock.
So it is a full weekend?
If you're on call the whole weekend.
Yeah.
But we hope we get enough commission where we can rotate that out, and everybody will have one weekend and then off, you know. If we got all of you all, then, you know, and her, Bridget, then she'll do a weekend, you do a weekend. So if we had all 5 of you, you'd be there for 5th weekend, you'd be working, if that's what we decide to do. So that would be too bad. We've had it a lot worse, where everybody's worked every weekend in the past, haven't we? So, you guys got anything else? You guys got anything more? Any questions, Roy?
no, I think it pretty well covers it.
Okay. Does any of y'all got any? All right, well, somebody, we'll get in contact with y'all, okay? And appreciate you coming and putting in for it, okay?
Thank you.
Really do. Is there any opening this week? Okay. We will. Brittany, you got anything else?
Mary can cover, I've got 5 days this month that I don't have anybody for. Hang on.
Well, I think we can help with that. I think Chris can help out. Is that anything to run?
Chris Barlow?
Barlow, yeah. he's, the daytime manager, so,
For,
yeah, for that.
That
so
over
he
there.
could probably handle that one day if we needed to. We can ask him and see where we've been on that. You get all your days covered.
Alright,
I think we ought to get background checks on everybody, don't you think so? And see
I
what.
thought, I thought we did, because I had a background check.
Well, we have done it, and I don't know, sometimes we got the bind and had to hire somebody and hire them.
Mary's confirmed the 22nd and I think the 27th, so I only need somebody, there's actually only 4 days.
Okay.
So I need somebody
We'll
the
get those.
18th and the 26th.
Okay, get those dates to, Connie, and
Okay.
we'll work on that. And we probably need to look at putting a supervisor, making Brittany a supervisor, and let her start scheduling. And she does a schedule, and everybody sticks to the schedule unless it's life or death, you know, or sickness where they can't be here. And that way we won't have this problem. If we can get enough people hired to come in and they work that, you set the schedule, and we don't change it, then we should give everybody a good break out of it. So what do you think about that?
That's fine with me. I mean, I don't care.
We just need to try to do that, and that way we can be more consistent with the judicial, what y'all think, so.
well, they're gonna have to understand though, they ain't gonna get much time if you hire.
Well,
I will say this, I don't want to say it from the off the bat, I personally don't want Jan hired again. I don't want Jan hired again.
oh, well, we'll still interview him.
Well, I'm not saying don't interview, I'm just saying from my experience with him already.
Hold on.
I think he's looking to make money.
Well, he was
That
hired
was
one
his
time
problem.
before.
Yeah, he was here once before, and it didn't work out. Well, we can look at it.
I had a lot of issues with time. He got mad because of how many days he had, and he said, I was never told that I wouldn't have that many. I'm like, I sat there and told you, Ben sat there and told you, and I don't remember which one of the commissioners it was at the time. I said, but one of the commissioners told you, you knew we were only looking for someone to work 3 to 5 days a month.
He was wanting more time.
He was wanting more
I
time.
think that's what he's looking for now is.
Yeah. And
to
then
get extra money.
he also could not grasp some of the requirements.
You get what?
He couldn't grasp some of the requirements, like, he wrote an order of protection that should never have been wrote. And then he'd forget to sign stuff, and Judge Colson had to throw some stuff out because he did it wrong, and it's just a big ordeal.
Well, once you,
Probably just don't even waste his time around.
we'll take a look at that then.
Well, I mean, I don't care to interview him, I'm just telling you off the bat, from my experience with him, I don't think that one will go well.
All right. Anything else? All right, you got anything else? All right, next meeting will be July the 12th. In the meantime, I'll get with Connie and see what we can do about starting interviews. And we've got 4 there, it looks like, 3 there, potential.
Well,
2
there's
here and 1 there.
No,
There's 6, there's 2 that weren't
2 6,
here
right.
because, just a conflict.
Okay, 2, that's all.
Because, actually his parent, she's at the house taking care of him, and then the other one's,
We'll get this set up and start, we'll let you know when you're ready to start interviewing, and I'll get with y'all and find out what y'all's schedule is like. All right, July 12th is our next scheduled, public safety meeting, if nothing else, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Motion by Billy, second by Randall. All 4? Yes. All 4, we are adjourned.
Cedric can't go back to karate. Apparently he fell.